Hello and welcome to Helping Other People Excel, or HOPE, as you can see up here. Helping Other People Excel. That's the little acronym we like to use, and I want to welcome you to my show today. We're going to be here with you for the next half hour, and we appreciate the fact that you are joining us and welcome us into your home today. So today we're going to talk about learning lessons. Sometimes those are painful things, but you know, we all must learn. If we don't, we are, what is it they said, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, or something like that. So we don't want to go there. So anyway, it's nice to have you guys all here today and nice to be with you. I've learned that we have to have determination, we have to be persistent, we have to go after the things that we want. And you know, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to talk about today. So oftentimes it goes that way, and then you know, on the way here I'm listening to some good stuff. Always try and feed my mind with good input. No more listening to radio stations and channels and music that make the other guys rich. I want to enrich my own self. I want to enrich my thinking, and so I'm listening to good stuff, putting good data in so that I can get good data out and make myself more valuable to you and others around in my life. So on the way, of course, listening to that good information, I decided to talk about learning our lessons. And so, you know, if we're persistent, if we follow through, we keep pushing forward in spite of the desire to lay in a little bit longer and sleep because the snow outside and the wind and it's blowing and drifting, and you know, if we give in to that, then we miss out on blessings and opportunities ourselves. And so persisting and pushing through. Got a little bit stuck in the driveway, had to get unstuck from that and get a little bit of a push, and I finally got out, and some of the roads were nice and clean like the highway, but some of them were a little rough and snow covered, and a couple of times it threw me a little bit. And of course those guys that go by real fast and throw the slush on your windshield and all of that. But you know, I'm glad that I'm here today, and I'm glad that we've got this nice lesson for you today. Before we get too far into it, I want to thank my sponsors. PamperMeNaturally.com has a fine array of lotions and soaps and lip balms and salves that you can use for your skin. If your skin could talk, it would say Pamper Me Naturally. And so if you go to their website, PamperMeNaturally.com, I understand they're still working on the site a little bit, but if you see something on there that's listed but it doesn't have a link to be able to purchase it online, feel free to drop an email, and I'm sure that they'll make sure to get it to you, whatever it is you're looking for. And also, you know, make sure you mention us at Helping Other People Excel, and that you saw us on WCET television. They'll be glad to know that their promotional monies are going to a good cause and being effective. So, in addition to that, we have Perry's Place at 90 North Main in Cedar Springs, Michigan. And Perry's Place is a spot where you can get herbs, fine herbs and teas and more. And many of those teas and herbs are important for helping your body with its health needs and nutrition. He has a lot of stuff for those that are gluten-free, those that are needing dairy-free. He has things for those as well. And so you want to stop in and see Perry. He can help you out with some of those things or other health questions that you have. They have massage, and I think he even has somebody that does some acupuncture. So various things to help you with your health internally. Pamper Me Naturally helps you with your skin's health and the external, and keeping you looking and smelling nice. And then we have, of course, Hope, Helping Other People Excel, for your spirit and for your heart, to help encourage you and give you strength. So ideally we try to meet all those needs. The other newest of our sponsors is Uncle Jim's Jerky. They're over in Walker, kind of northwest. I think you take Remembrance straight out until you almost get to the highway there, and on the left is a little place called Paula's Market, and Uncle Jim's Jerky is in Paula's Market there, and he's got some of the best beef jerky out there that you'll find. It's almost like eating tasty, flavorful, seasoned steak that's cut real thin. And I'm not going to say it doesn't stick in your teeth, because all beef jerky sticks in your teeth, but how many of you had the beef jerky, what they call beef jerky, from the gas stations in little packets that are hanging on the shelf? Boy, you put those things in your mouth and you could chew. It's like a slowpoke sucker. I don't even think they have slowpoke suckers anymore, do they? But boy, you can chew on them things for all day long, one piece will last you. So, you know, Uncle Jim's jerky is not like that at all. His is really tender. It's like real good, juicy, tasty steak. Only it's, you know, been dried and cured and seasoned real nice. And so I know you'll enjoy that. When you get out there, if you tell them again that you heard about them on helping other people excel, we would appreciate that, and I know that they'll appreciate it as well. So anyway, it's been said that school is where we all started out there. High school, grade school, is where you learn your lesson, you study hard, and then you take a test and see if you pass. However, in life, you get a test first, and then you learn your lesson. And that's kind of what I want to talk to us about today. Discuss with you today is the lessons we learn in life. It's been said that if you lessons are repeated until we learn the lesson that we're supposed to get, and so you keep getting that same lesson over and over again. And I know when I was a younger man, not even all that long ago, I felt like I was on this whole hamster wheel where I was just running and running and running the same circle all day long and getting nowhere, you know, and just tired. But that, I think, is a good example, or an example, of getting the same lessons over and over again. I just wasn't learning from those lessons. And so the next day I had to get up and run that same hamster wheel again because I didn't learn that lesson from the previous day. And so here we go again until we do learn the lesson, you know. And I know so many times we have those situations where we, you know, it seems like we keep having financial difficulties, and you know, we don't know why. It seems like nothing can quite keep up with the bills, and it all just seems real difficult. Maybe it's relationships, you know, we find a girl and we think she's just right for us, and we're all excited about this new person that we're spending time with, and a little bit down the line, all of a sudden it seems like things aren't quite as nice, and next thing you know, they're really rocky. And we oftentimes blame them, say, well, you know, there was something wrong with them. They have to be. I mean, you know, I'm perfect. I'd be perfect for them if only they would just get it straight on their end. But, you know, it's funny, the things we tell ourselves to rationalize, but the truth is, if you continually have bad relationships, then, you know, you really shouldn't be looking specifically at them. First of all, we can't change them. We can't do anything about them. They are who they are, and the only person that can change them and their ways and their things is them. The only thing we can change is ourselves. And so if we want to change something in our lives, we got to stop looking to the external influence and start looking instead to our internal influence and say, okay, what can I do? Maybe I pick the wrong girls. Maybe I'm attracted to the wrong people, you know, maybe, or guys if you happen to be a lady. You know, I constantly keep picking these bad ones. Well, why is it? Why am I picking those bad ones? What lesson can I learn from that? You know, why? Orrin Woodward is one of the world's best motivational speakers, and really good at teaching this kind of thing. He said that it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, the more mistakes we make, the better, unless we're making the same mistake over and over again. Don't keep making the same mistake. It's okay to make mistakes. Just move on to a different one next time. And that way you can learn. If you learn from this one and we move on next time and we do something else and we make a mistake there, then we learn from that one. But we're still learning. We keep moving forward. We keep progressing. And so we make these mistakes, but don't make the same one over and over again. You know, it's kind of like the people that, you know, they lost 450 pounds. You know, it was the same 20 pounds. They just kept losing it over and over again all their lives. Maybe I exaggerate slightly, but, you know, at any rate, it's ourselves that we can change and not others. And so we need to try and find when we have a bad relationship, or if we are having problems with our finances and having a hard time making our bills, It's not their fault. It's not our boss's fault for not paying us more money or giving us more hours or any of the rest of that. It's our fault for not living within our means. For trying to spend that if-come money. Well, if I get that bonus at the end of the month, well, unless it's in your hand, it's not yours to spend, because something could happen and you just never know. God forbid something might happen to your company and it might collapse or whatever. But we have control of ourselves. We make our choices. We need to learn the lessons from our own mistakes, and in that way we can move forward. And learning that, making that same mistake over and over again, that's just a serious faux pas. You're never going to learn from that way. You're never going to move forward. And we have to look to ourselves. Maybe in a relationship, maybe it's not that we're picking the wrong person. Maybe we're picking a perfectly fine person. But as they get to know us, they find that we're a little difficult to live with. I know I kind of had that problem myself for a while. I was a bit difficult to live with, and I had to learn from my mistakes and learn from my broken relationships and say, okay, Jim, how can we fix this? What can we do about this? How can I become more likable? How can I become more desirable, more affectionate maybe, more, I like to say, if you're fishing for trout and all you're catching are bass, then you need to change your bait. And of course the bait is us. And so how can I change myself to be the kind of guy that will attract the kind of girl I'm looking for, And it's so important for us to be doing that inward reflection and that soul searching, maybe you might want to call it. But, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a book that I've got that I've been reading, and I read a lot. You can see I got a little bookmark in there. And I read it regularly, honestly. I read it more than once because it's just got such good information, and there's so much in there that as I read, I forget some of the things that I read. I go on with my day-to-day life. A month from now, I've put the book down and something comes up, and my instinct is to revert back to my old way and do it the way I used to do it, which isn't helping things. It's not learning the lesson, because the way I used to do it failed, and that wasn't successful, and I didn't get good results from that. And if I want new results, if I want better results, I have to do things different. And so I learned from books like this, and he's got such great advice in this thing. And one of the things that he gave us, and I was reading just the other day, and I shared with somebody else too, is we can learn a lesson from our surroundings, from those in our world, things around us, I guess. Can't really call them those. He was talking about how you've probably seen a good example of how you should respond to others, how you should react to others when you're walking down the street and you look down the street a little bit and you see him coming toward you. And, as he sees you, you can tell he's excited, that he's looking forward to saying hi to you and so on. And he comes kind of running toward you, and the closer you get, his little tail begins to wag, and you realize that this dog, man's best friend he's been called, is the perfect example of how we should treat others. We should be excited to see other people. We should have a big smile on our face when we see somebody and go, hey, how's it going? Boy, it's great to see you. As opposed to, sometimes we, hey, how's it going? I go to a health club sometimes, and, I walk into the health club and the people are busy behind the counter, and that's nice. I mean, they got their work to do too. But, they might look up and say hi as I come in. But there's not that big smile and that big excitement of, hey, man, it's great to see you here today. But that's the kind of thing that wins us friends. How many friends does the dog have? Everybody loves the dog. The little dog's out there wagging his tail. He comes up and he wants to see you. He wants to smell you. He wants to pet you. He's just looking for love and attention. He doesn't do anything all day long but give us love. And for that, we're willing to house him and feed him, and sometimes they get better care taken of them than we take care of ourselves, and even maybe some of our own families. I know people that spend just thousands of dollars a year on their pets. fancy, expensive cat food, dog food, whatever it is, and they're spending just crazy money on that because, you know, that little pet gives them love and affection back. But the dog is a great example of how we should treat others. And, you know, if we come home and we're happy to see our spouse because we've been gone all day, we've worked hard, and we walk in the door and there's the love of our life, you know, and she's standing there and she's happy to see us. She's got that excited dog look on her face, you know. Maybe she's wagging, no, she's not wagging her tail. But she has that excitement, that enthusiasm for seeing you. And you have that enthusiasm for seeing them. How is it that you feel when the dog comes running up to you and wants your attention? You want to give him attention. You want to pet him. You want to say hi. Because he's just a cute little dog and he's so excited to see you. You are, at that moment, the only thing in his world that matters. Everything else is blocked out. Whether that bone, the juicy bone he had in the back room or whatever, or in the backyard, he's not thinking about that. He's thinking about you and nothing but you. You are the center of his attention at that very moment. And you know, if we made others the center of our attention, you know, you think back on when you first met your wife, your girlfriend, you started dating, your husband, your boyfriend, if you happen to be a female, you had that enthusiasm for them. You had that excitement. Every time you saw them, your face lit up because, oh yeah, there he is, there she is. Boy, I sure hope we can get together. You know, I'm looking forward to our date Thursday night or whatever, you know, but you had that excitement and that enthusiasm because that person was there, that person that you've been thinking about in your mind all the time, you know. And somewhere along the line in our world and in our lives, the day-to-day work and labor, the hamster wheel run, the bills that are piling up, all of those things diminish that excitement level. And now when we see our wife, we come home and go, hi honey, I'm home. Well, how was your day at work? Well, you know, it was a day at work. What happened to the excitement? You see, that's not something that is natural. Maybe it kind of half comes natural at first. We first meet that significant other because, you know, it's somebody new in our life and we want that to work and we want that excitement. We want to impress that person. We want to let them know that we care about them because, you know, we're hoping to win their attention and their affection and their maybe hand in marriage ultimately. And so we work real hard at being that to them. We have that puppy dog enthusiasm of, oh, hey, sweetheart, how are you? Boy, it sure is good to see you. I've had a hard day at work and you just are such a refreshment to my heart and to my spirit when I come home and see you there waiting for me with a big smile on your face and the enthusiasm of a puppy dog waiting for me to come home, you know. And, you know, they lose that enthusiasm too for the same reasons. But we can get that back. It's all about choices. It's, again, back about our changing us. We can't change what's going on in the lives of our significant other. We can't change their enthusiasm level, but we can change ours. And in changing ours, then it changes theirs. When we're excited to see them again, when we walk in the door and we give them that excited, enthused hi and hello, and boy, it sure is nice to see you. I'm glad I'm home, sweetheart. When you have that attitude again, your spouse will return that because they'll see that and they'll feel that. And just like the puppy dog that comes running up to you wagging its tail, you respond in a positive way. You want to reach down and pet that little dog because he's so cute and he loves me. I'm the center of his attention at the moment. Give your significant other, woman or man, whatever, give them that enthusiasm again. Because that is indeed what won them for you in the first place. They were the center of your attention. They were the center of your world. They were your everything. You remember that? You look back and you think about that? When you were dating, that wonderful feeling you had in your heart when you went to the beach or when you went to dinner and you got to hold their hand, sitting in the movie theater next to them, holding hands or your arm around them, and how good that made you feel. Because they were your world. They were the center of your everything. And, you know, it's sad, but our world and the pressures and the stresses and the cares of our world take our focus from what is and should be our center of attention and our world and our everything. It takes our attention off that and we start to focus on other things. It reminds me of Peter and Jesus out in the boat on the Sea of Galilee, and they were all sleeping, and they woke up and Jesus is nowhere to be seen, but then they see him out there walking on the water and they think it's a ghost or a spirit. And Jesus says, no, calm down, man. It's just me. It's all right. I just took a little stroll here for a minute. And Peter said, well, if it's really you, bid me to come to you. And Jesus said, okay, come on. And so Peter stepped out of the boat. He had some faith there, you got to admit. That's might be more faith than you and I would have. But he stepped out of the boat and onto the water, and the Bible says he took a few steps even, because he had that enthusiasm. He saw the center of his life. He saw the center of his attention out there, and he was going for it. He was going to it. And then, all of a sudden, came to his senses, you might say, or maybe he didn't. Maybe lost his senses, and realized that, the cares of this world are all around me, and the waves are lapping up, and it's water I'm standing on, not solid land or ground. And those things started to distract him from his focus, the love of his life, the center of his attention. Everything he cared about was Jesus. Those things distracted him, and what happened? He began to sink. And he said, help me, Father Jesus, for I perish. And Jesus reached down his hand and caught him and pulled him up, and they got back into the boat. But the story is the same. It's the same principle. We lose track. We lose sight of the things that are important to us because we're looking at the cares around us of our world. Maybe we're watching the negativity of the news on TV and the shootings or the bombings or the political race. God help us. All those things are just inundating us. And we lose the focus of what's important. We lose the focus of the love of our life. And so consequently, when we come home, hey honey, I'm home. Throw your coat on the couch or whatever. She says hi. And in you go. What's for dinner? It's the drudgery. You've lost that focus. You've lost that enthusiasm for the love of your life. All you've got to do to get that back is to look at yourself and go, okay, how did I respond to her when I first started dating her? What did I feel then? How did I react when I saw her? You remember that? The big smile that would come on your face, the twinkle that came in your eyes, because you saw her smile back at you. And for that moment, like the puppy dog, you were her everything. She was your everything. And that enthusiasm and that focus was there. It's a choice that we make. It's a lesson we must learn. Are we going to make the choice to be enthusiastic when we see our loved one? Or is it going to be, the drudgery of life has taken over my day and I'm living in a rut, which incidentally is a grave with the ends kicked out. That's a rut. You can get out of that rut by changing your attitude. Attitude is everything. And I just can't explain to you enough how true that is. It's one of those things like the red pill in the Matrix. Nobody can tell you what the Matrix is. You have to take the red pill. You have to see it. You have to experience it to understand and to believe it. But I'm telling you, attitude is everything. That's your red pill. You have to experience that change in your attitude. And when you see that change in your attitude and you see how it changes things, I'm reminded of a quick story that Orrin Woodward told I was listening to just today about two salesmen that were selling pans. And this may have come from Zig Ziglar because he was a pan salesman and an awesome man as far as leadership goes. But they were both selling pans, the same company, same brand, in the same neighborhood. They were going door to door, the worst kind of sales there is, the most difficult. And the one salesman was going down his side of the street and he was selling pans left and right. He was going to town. And the other salesman was going down the other side of the street and he wasn't selling any pans. And the salesman that was selling no pans was saying, man, these pans they must not be any good. I just can't sell any. But his attitude was that he couldn't sell any, that they were no good. That was his thought process. The guy on the other side of the street, same neighborhood, same pans, selling lots of them because they're great pans, and he was able to portray that to his customers, his potential customers, his prospects. And they saw that and bought from his enthusiasm and his excitement about this quality product that he had. That explains kind of, again, you have to take the red pill, you have to experience it to really know and understand it. But that explains kind of the difference that attitude makes. You can have a good attitude about your product, you can have a good attitude about your job, you can have a good attitude about your life. And when you do, people will see that good attitude and they will come toward you and want some of that because they want that too. They want that excitement, they want happiness in their life as much as you do. And if you've got that, they want to know what you're doing so they can get it too. Or you can have the bad attitude, the molly grubs, there it is. The old Eeyore look. How many of us remember Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? I guess so. Yeah, it's probably a nice day out. Nobody wants that attitude. Nobody wants to acquire that for themselves. Nobody wants to be around that because it drags them down. But a good attitude pulls people up. It lifts them up and it helps them feel good about themselves. And so if we can learn that lesson from our lives about having a good attitude, and the attitude is everything. What you portray when you go into work the next day is going to be, hey guys, how you doing? Man, it's great to see you. I am so happy to be to work today. I'm going to get a lot done. I'm looking forward to this day and we're going to tear this up. Come on, who's coming with me? And now you got followers. Or the Eeyore look, well, dang, here I am at work again. How you doing there, secretary? Yeah, I got to go get my job done. I got a pile of work to do today. Who wants to help that guy? Nobody. They don't even want to be around him because, he's depressing. And we don't want to be depressed too. We got enough of our own problems. So we got to make that choice to have that good attitude. Learn from the past. Learn from the guys that have gone the wrong way. Learn from somebody else's mistakes. That's even better than learning from your own. Way better, trust me. Been there, done that. I've done a lot of learning from my own mistakes, and I'd much rather learn from yours. So, we've got to really work on that. Change our attitude. Make that effort. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about your wife or your significant other. Don't worry about their attitude. Don't worry that you're not the focus of their attention anymore, but make them the focus of your attention now. Get that back. Get that feeling back. Get that excitement level back. Get that excitement level for your job back. Because every one of us, when we started our first job, or our job in the beginning, we were all excited about it. We wanted it to go. We were happy. Hey, I got this new job. I'm getting a raise. Man, everything's great. Until we've been there 6 months, and then all of a sudden, the boss is a jerk, and so we got to get that attitude. I'm sadly running out of time again today, but it's been a pleasure being with you. I've enjoyed talking with you and sharing with you some of the things that have ministered to me this week, and I hope that something that I've said today has been a blessing to you. If it has, give me a call, 616-799-0517, or drop me an email at jim.pate@gmail.com. That Pate is P-A-T-E, like pate, only without the liver. So give me a call, drop me a line, let me know that I've been a blessing to you, that I've encouraged you, and I look forward to seeing you again this time next week. And so have a good week. God bless you.
Hi, I'm Larry Treese from Healthcare Associates and Community Caregivers. Just like in sports, when it comes to home health care, you need a good team. We offer private duty nursing, Medicare services, and therapies. We're a part of the community too. We want to be there for you. Give us a call. Home health care at its best, 531-9973.